Hi guys, David Jenyns here from the SEO Method, and today I'm very excited. We've got a master persuader on the line. We've got Dave Lakhani, and he's got a really interesting story, and it started back when he was actually raised up in a cult, and perhaps I'll get Dave to talk a little bit more about that and how he broke free from that. And I think being so entrenched in that has given him a great understanding of the way persuasion works. He's gone on to sort of be a business strategist, having worked with more than 500 businesses over the past 10 years. He's a great speaker and is very much in demand on the circuit. And his latest book, is it Subliminal Persuasion, The Art of Getting What You Want? Is that right, Dave?
That's actually my next to last book. The newest book is called How to Sell When Nobody's Buying.
Very cool. Well, there we go. That's a perfect introduction. Thanks for jumping on the line. Perhaps tell us a little bit about the new book that's coming out.
Yeah, so the book came out in June, and it's interesting because it'll tie into a lot of what we're talking about. I was contacted by my publisher in February. They asked me to write the book as fast as I could. They wanted to have it out by June. So I wrote the book. They did an amazing job of getting it out quickly. We planned the launch for it, and by we, I mean me, because publishers do very little to really help you sell a book. But I planned the launch. The book sold out in North America in 8 hours, online and off.
Very cool.
Interestingly enough, over 50% of my sales came from social media, online traffic-driven strategies. So that's what helped that book sell. But the book was really designed, and you can get it at Dymocks or any place in Australia that sells books, of course, Amazon and those kind of places. But it's very interesting because the book really focuses on exactly what you have to do in what has been a very tough economy for many people to get attention and to cause people to come to your website and interact with you.
I suppose that leads into what these calls are all about and how to drive traffic to your website and how to get that attention that you need and then hopefully convert that traffic. So perhaps if you can even take us through the process of what you did in the launch of that book to get that, awesome result, have it sold out so quickly.
Sure. One of the most important things that I do right now is I maintain a very focused social media strategy. So I'm constantly interacting with people on Twitter, interacting with them on LinkedIn, interacting with them on Facebook, and interacting with them on multiple blogs. One of the blogs that I'm using right now most effectively, or one of the blogging platforms that's most effective, because it allows you to do virtually everything to your blog from a cell phone, a BlackBerry, iPhone, anything that you might be using. I use Posterous, which is posterous.com. Posterous allows you to update your blog via email. And so basically what happens is if you attach a photo, a video to your email, you put the subject line in, that becomes the headline of your blog post. Whatever you type in the body of your email becomes the body post. And as a result of that, when you press send, it automatically converts the video for you into a proper format, aligns it properly on the blog. Same thing with photos or any other attachments that you have, audio, anything like that, properly puts in the headline and then properly puts all the text in where it should go. So literally now there's virtually no reason that you can't be responding to things as you think of them as they're happening and helping create that following. So step number one then was to begin interacting more deeply about the book with people who were on who were following me online, who were on the blogs and those kind of things, and let them know what was going on and to build anticipation and excitement. So I did that from the minute I started writing the book. I talked about what it was like writing the book under a tight deadline, under short having a very short amount of time to write the book. I started talking to them about the interesting things that I found while I was researching the book, about the economy, about business, all of those kinds of things. And so I started the dialogue, and I continued that dialogue and didn't allow it to stop up until the point that the book released. Building anticipation for what was going to be covered, talking about why I wrote the book differently by starting with a chapter 0. All of those kind of things led people to become more and more engaged, more interactive, wanting to know more. I also created videos, which we ultimately released using a tool that allows you to actually click the video, and you can click on the video and it will take you directly to a link in the site. So all of those kinds of things have allowed me to interact with my audience in ways that I wasn't able to before. And so that created the sort of anticipation, that created a lot of the interaction that happened. But what was very interesting about this was that as it was released, what happened is social media did exactly what we hoped that it would do. And so it caused people to then share the message. So while I was sharing the message with the 16 or 18,000 people that are on my that are on my Twitter following, the 5,000 people on Facebook because I've reached the Facebook limit, the thousands of people that read my blog, what happened is, a percentage of those people, and frankly not even a large percentage of them, maybe 10% of the people, then either retweeted or, recommended it on Facebook or linked to it on their blog. But then of those 1,000 people, a good percentage of those people's friends, followers, et cetera, did the same thing, which created massive exposure that first day and resulted in the book selling out in under 8 hours in North America.
What are your thoughts on selling, like obviously with Persuasion being such a big part of what you do, selling using social media? Because everybody talks about the idea that, social media isn't the platform for selling, it's that interaction and relating to your customers. How do you tread as far as, selling through these different social media outlets?
I find that sort of a funny argument, really, because social media is simply another messaging distribution outlet like radio or television or print or anything else. But what is interesting is that they make, and that's really not what's the most interesting thing, but what's the most interesting thing is they make a distinction between having an interaction with your client and selling. The best salespeople, the best marketers are the people who best interact with their clients, who provide people with valuable information, who cause them to be polarized, who cause them to be interested or intrigued, and then talk about solutions to problems they're having and all of those things. I think where they get mixed up at is if you use social media as a tool to shout at people, to try and interrupt them for their attention and get them to pay attention to a sale where you're asking them to buy now, then they turn on you very quickly, and that's where people have made the mistake. It's not the fact that the social media isn't a tool for selling. It's a great tool for selling. It's a great tool for distributing your message in a way that influences people highly, but not when you use old techniques of screaming at people, of trying to interrupt them, of spamming them, all of those things. That's what turns people on you very, very quickly.
Yeah. The process that you went through for this launch, is it quite a structured thing where you very much look at, I'm going to be making sure I'm doing X number of Twitter posts, I'm going to make sure that I, make a few posts on the blog and X number on the Facebook, and what sort of structure, systemized process do you follow, or is it just more, as people interact, you interact where the attention is at that time?
It's a combination of the two. I had a very specific strategy for how much I wanted to interact, what kind of videos I wanted to create. I put videos up on Veeple, for example, which is Veeple, and I can send you a link to that if you like. That's the clickable video, and it has analytics on the back end, so I could tell immediately what people were interested in. If they clicked through to something that I talked about in the video, that let me know they're interested in this or they weren't interested in it. So I could create more of what they were interested in and do less of what they weren't. Those kind of things allowed me to be very, very targeted and specific in what I was doing. So to answer your question, I had a very specific process for making sure that I tweeted on a regular basis, updated the blog on a regular basis, Facebooked on a regular basis, all of those things that really worked, that I was, doing as many pre-teleseminars as I could for the book. All of those kind of things allowed me to, they allowed me to be very methodical in my process and to make sure that I was reaching the sort of mind share that I wanted to. And then as people interact, I made sure that I interacted with them as well, because the best way to get people to talk about what it is you're doing is to have a conversation with them that's interesting and compelling to them, so that they'll then report it to other people. And so that helped increase my following base. And then the day that the book released, it helped increase the number of people who retweeted or talked about it in social media or blogged about it or created their own videos or reviewed the book on Amazon, all of those things.